first thing we're going to start off with the bones of the elbow, the bony structures that make up the elbow. So the first one that we're going to talk about, everybody can find, it's right there. And this is what a lot of people commonly just call their elbow. They're like, oh yeah, it's my elbow right here. Well, no, that's the olecranon process.
People laugh when I say that.
It's kind of funny.
What's the olecranon process?
Is it because we say electro nom nom nom? Is that why?
Some people do.
Oh no.
And then
How embarrassing for us.
I know.
no. So olecranon process should be pretty easy for everybody to find. If it's difficult, there's usually some swelling or something like that that's making it.
Is it common that it's like really, really pointy?
Like hers?
Can't tell.
Mine's lethal.
No, it can be a pretty pointy portion of the elbow joint.
My wife's olecranon is like, she could probably cut through steel with her elbow.
It's a good weapon. Look at her. Holy cow.
Oh my gosh.
Sideways.
Wow.
That's
I got Cora. More question. No.
Roll our sleeve
Well,
back.
my silent process.
That's good.
Oh, that was great. I think we should all start calling it epicondyle.
Epicondyle.
Look at those epicondyles. It's great. It's fantastic. So, speaking of the epicondyles, we've got our medial epicondyle right here. Okay, again, this is an area that is pretty prominent, should be pretty easy to find, and some people it sticks out a little bit more than others. Okay? Then we've got our lateral epicondyle on the other side. Okay? Both of those are important to know, especially when we start talking about musculature, right? Which muscle group attaches to the medial epicondyle?
Flexors.
There's flexors. How about the lateral?
Extensors.
Extensors, right? What other muscle comes and attaches to that medial epicondyle that is important as far as forearm motions? Pronator teres, right? And we'll actually have a test for pronator teres. And we'll palpate it today, so yay! The next thing that we're going to palpate, I need to keep you up here, is the ulnar shaft, right? The olecranon process is part of the ulna. If we just follow that, we should be able to go and palpate the entire thing all the way down to the lateral, or the ulnar stylar process. Okay? Not the lateral epicondyle. The radius, however, we know that we can find the radial head. So if we know where the lateral epicondyle is and we come just inferior to it, we'll hit the joint line between the radial head and the humerus. Okay, so right below that we've got our radial head, which if you're wondering if you're on it, you find that joint line, come off it, and take your patient in and out of supination pronation, not internal external rotation. Supination pronation, you should feel it move just a little bit under there, right? It's not going to be huge, but you'll kind of feel it. It's not like perfectly round, so it kind of bumps out. So there's our radial head. If we were to follow that, we might be able to follow the shaft for just a little bit, and then all of a sudden it disappears because we've got this group of forearm or wrist extensors, that get in the way. Okay, and then once we get past all of those, we can find it again down at the end here. So not a ton of space where we can't palpate it, but a good amount. Then we can come down and finish off that radius of the radial stylar process down here at the wrist. Okay, that's it as far as bones go for the elbow and forearm. Next we'll move on to the ligaments. So we already talked about how to find the radial head. The first ligament that we're going to talk about is the one that wraps around that radial head and keeps it in contact with the ulna, which is known as the annular ligament, right? This one, there are some people who say, oh, you can find it, and then if you strum superior inferior, then you can feel the fibers. I've never been able to feel the fibers, to be honest with you. It should just be a nice smooth ligament. okay? The only time we'll actually feel something, or we should feel something, is if there's a tear or some sort of abnormal issue going on that we don't want going on, okay? So that's our annular ligament.
Where did you say that was between exactly?
It wraps right around the radial head. And so if we can find that joint line like we did before, and then we move just inferior to the joint line, and we find the radial head, then we're on the angular ligament because of where it's located. Okay. Next, we have the lateral collateral ligament. This one again, you find that joint line on that lateral side, and if you move over to the ulnar side of the arm, okay, so more medially or anterior, however you want to look at it, you'll feel the joint line just disappear under your finger or under your thumb, okay? As soon as it disappears, as soon as it kind of pushes you up, that's going to be that lateral collateral ligament, okay? Or radial collateral. It's part of that radial collateral ligament kind of complex and stuff like that. On the opposite side, this one's a little tougher, but if you find the medial epicondyle, because of the fact that the flexors, the wrist flexors all attached there, and the pronator teres, it's actually a really big muscle group that's kind of covering up that lateral ulnar collateral ligament, or not lateral ulnar collateral, that's what it's saying. The ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL, is on this side, okay? I feel like there's something behind me.
I'm just making, you're having a hard time today, it seems.
I am. Okay. You find that medial epicondyle, and you kind of roll around it, and it'll be more on the anterior side of it. And this one's really tough to find because you're just running into a lot of tendons in that spot. But that's where it's going to sit. That's the one that's going to resist that valgus stress, which we'll do a special test for that. Muscles, biceps brachii.
What?
Whoa.
I don't need one of those.
I missed it. Where is it?
I was gonna tap you. I'm just reading my thoughts.
I missed
Here.
He was a humorous.
Yeah, biceps brachii right there, right? And if we have her resist, then see, there it is. It
I do have one.
She's got one, yay!
Aren't there
So-
two?
Yeah, there are 2 heads, but we're only gonna worry about the one because, let's be honest. So there's our biceps brachii. Now, if I turn her arm sort of thumbs up, and I have her resist the same motion of elbow flexion, now what muscle am I testing, or is going to pop out? Brachioradialis, right? Right there. She's got a nice one that's sticking out for us.
We're not that biceps, but you got that brachial.
She's got that brachioradialis.
I work it out every day.
There's lots of hammer curls. Swig.
Swig.
The next one, tricep, right here, right? So they resist, or we resist them into elbow extension. We should feel that. We're not going to usually be able to differentiate the 3 heads, right? But we can at least come down to the electron process and where it inserts and feel that tendons area, make sure everything's the way it should be. Okay. People upstairs moving around. Flexor and extensor, or flexor pronator / extensor supinator group of the wrist in particular. So if we do resisted wrist extension, we should see that extensor group pop out. Okay. Same thing if we do resisted flexion, then on that side we should see the flexors pop out. Okay. For the pronator teres, now we're going to do resisted pronation. So we're going to start in a neutral position like this, and then watch right here. Physically, there's a nice little muscle belly that's probably going to pop out. So unresist. See that? Woo! Right there. Nice pronator teres popping out.
I feel like every muscle in my body is.
She's radiating a lot. So those are our muscles. As far as the other stuff that we need to know about cubital fossa, it's bordered by 3 different points, right? On the superior portion, we've got the joint line itself. On the medial side, what's going to create or make up our medial border?
Pronator teres.
Pronator teres, that muscle we just had pop out right there, right? And then what's going to border or make up the border on that lateral side?
The hammer curl muscle.
The what now?
The hammer curl muscle.
The hammer curl muscle, the brachioradialis. Okay? And what do we find inside? So we get this nice little area that looks like this. Something like that. Okay,
Like
nice
that.
little triangle that's sitting like this. What do we find inside there?
Brachial artery.
Empty pit.
Okay, brachial artery. What else?
Radial artery.
Nerve.
Radial nerve.
Radial nerve. Musculocutaneous. No, just kidding.
Not ulnar nerve.
Median.
Median nerve. Okay, so the brachial artery, brachial nerve, or the radial nerve, and the median nerve. Brachial artery, and then radial and median nerves are what we find in that fossa. Okay. The ulnar nerve, we don't find in there, right? The ulnar nerve runs through a little tunnel back here, which is made up of the olecranon process and the medial epicondyle. It sits right inside there, and we're going to learn a test to set it off, which will be fun. But before we do that, we can just, if you take your fingernail, or your finger, tip of your finger, not your fingernail, tip of your finger, and yeah, you could. You start on the olecranon process, and you kind of push it up into that cubital tunnel,
I don't
and then
like that.
pull towards the medial epicondyle. Did you get it?
I slipped.
She's not bothered by it at all.
I play with it.
Oh, what? You're weird like me. Okay? Yeah.
I
Already know
slipped. Did not.
That's the primary thing. It's
So
pretty
if
much
you
just
feel
that.
any kind of stringy type thing,
Yeah,
should be
and
covered.
it's a decent
What?
size. Like it's not like a teeny little thing. It's a decent size structure.
Just no idea.
So that's the ulnar nerve.
Oh my.
And then I assume that you guys know where the brachial and radial pulses are at this point. Radial pulse,
Oh,
radial pulse.
Radial?
I didn't know what it was.
Right there. There you go. I got it. Yeah.
That's
So
the
you can
deltoid
figure out those ones on your own.
The deltoid.
Okay, so that's the palpation we're going to do today. Go ahead.